Very good evening, friends. Welcome to in the series of Qualithan educational programs. Prior to this, I have conducted a series of webinars related to zero defect, zero effect, lean manufacturing, lean tools and techniques in the same series. Now, I am pleased to present one of the very interesting and very relevant topic on the visual management. So today's agenda is that we should discuss about the visual management, how it can be applied in every industry, whether it is small, large, and it can help in improving the performance of every kind of organization. So whatever the clarifications you want during the presentation of this webinar, you can interrupt me anytime. You can just type your queries on your computer, and whenever it appears, I'll try to clarify the questions asked by the participants. Okay, friends, we all know the saying, the seeing is believing. This is a very old wisdom everywhere. We learn from our elders how this belief, how this wisdom can be applied in daily work management on the shop floors to improve the performance of the organizations. As you all know, the human beings, they are having five organs of knowledge, what we call the Gyanendri in our Indian scriptures. So these are the eyes, ear, nose, skin, and tongue. So these five organs of knowledge, we gather all information from our surroundings, from the nature, and those informations that goes to mind, and then we perform the work through five organs of action known as a karmendri. So if you just see here, the maximum information, maximum knowledge we receive from our eyes. Statistically, 83% of the average informations or the knowledge we receive we gather from our eyes, 11% from the ear, 3.5% from the nose, and 1.5% through the touch, and 1% through our tongue or the taste organ. So how to use this knowledge, means this visual source of information in our shop floor and professional places. This is the main theme of today's webinar. In any manufacturing organization, whether it is a small industry or the large organization or the medium industry, the customers looking for three things from any manufacturing organization. They are most concerned about the quality, cost, and delivery. This has been in the past also the main concern of customers. It is today also, and it will remain in the future. So every manufacturing organization, their responsibility is to produce and deliver highest quality product at the minimum possible cost and just in time, or with the fastest delivery to the customer. This is the goal of any shop floor activity, any manufacturing process. Now, let's see how the visual management can help to meet the customer requirements in any manufacturing organization. So, in any manufacturing process, during production process, There is a possibility of happening many types of abnormalities every day. It may happen any moment. In your process, only two possible situations exist. In any manufacturing process, either process is under control or if there is any abnormality, it is out of control. When process is under control, then it is delivering the desired quality, cost and delivery targets. In the case of out of control, there is a problem. Basically, all the manufacturing personnel, they have to find out means how to come out with the proper solution in case of any problem. Means once the process is out of control, then appropriate solution has to be evolved so that quality, cost and delivery targets are continuously met by the organization. Here, visual management comes in picture. Objective of visual management is to display the condition of process so that all elements essential for quality, cost and delivery are controlled. Unless we know the abnormality in our production process, we cannot take appropriate corrective action to get our QCD or the quality, cost, delivery targets. So here the visual management comes in picture. The moment any abnormality appears in a production process, it must be communicated visually to the concerned people. So the purpose of visual management is to make the problem visible. So all the concerned people, they can see themselves and immediately take action without any reminder or without any instruction from others. So the purpose is very clear to making the problem. Unless the problems are made visible, it's not possible to take appropriate action to bring it under control. To ensure that timely actions are taken to rectify process abnormalities, problems should be made visible on the shop floor. If an abnormality cannot be detected, nobody can manage the process. The purpose of visual management is to spotlight the problems. So, what is a visual management? It is one of the lean techniques designed so that anyone entering a workplace, even those who are unfamiliar with the details of the processes, can very rapidly see what is going on, understand it, and see what is under control and what is not under control. So, the purpose is very clear to make the abnormalities visual to the concerned people so that they can take immediately appropriate action. When visual management functions, everyone at workplace can manage and improve the process to realize quality, cost and delivery. Visual management is in fact staying in touch with the reality. So as the name says, the visual management, so it is a management by eyes. Why visual management is essential? It is in an instant view the situations globally or in details. So what we want to see, what is the right, what is the wrong, what is done, what left to be done. The delays taking place in meeting the targets. These are the things we must know. We must come to know what are the resources, what are the tools and equipments, materials, etc. being used, and we must know the norms, working methods, standard working procedures. So these are the important areas of visual management. So visual management makes us that we see together, we know together, we act together, and we achieve the targets together. So the visual management is addressing for the whole team to get the desired targets as per the standard operational practices. The goal of lean is to create more value for customers by eliminating activities that are considered waste. As you know that lean manufacturing is the most effective management technique being adopted throughout the world to improve their production performance. So the visual management role is that it creates an environment where problems are not tolerated. So how it is being helped? So the create problem solving ability in employees. So first, non-tolerance for the problems. Then creating a problem solving ability, competence in the employees. Use visual tools to make abnormal conditions stand out, immediately known. Address problems immediately and use the scientific method of PDCA to prevent recurrence. So the visual management is one of the essential elements for solving the problems so that quality, cost, and delivery targets are continuously achieved by the production process. If you see the three most important aspects of visual management, so any factory which is following visual management is called as a visual factory. So the three most important aspects of any visual factory is the safety. Safety, productivity, and quality are the three important pillars. So safety, how it helps the visual management, hazards, visual recognition. So any hazard to the people operating the process or the users is that has to be visually made known so that they can take appropriate precaution. Safe areas, visual display. Safety is one of the greatest concern of any manufacturing organization. So the safe areas and unsafe areas has to be visually displayed. 5S is one of the very important technique already we have discussed to maintain the workplace in an organized way. So the visual management helps in implementation of 5S. And then we can create awareness of safety measures for all employees through the visual management. Now, the productivity aspects, how it addresses, it associates progress of work to attain the delivery targets, the production rate, whether it is as per the norm, as per the schedule or not, then progress towards goal, up to what extent we have progress towards achieving our quality, cost, delivery, and other goals of production process. Then it tells production status, up to what extent we have achieved the targets, and the efficiency measures, efficiency parameters, all these are addressed through the visual management to enhance the productivity. Regarding the quality, how the visual management helps that operator prompts for error proofing. Through the visual management, errors can be prevented by the operators. Clearly marked tools to reduce errors. All the tools, their, their traceability, their tolerances, the adjustments tools, their tolerance status, operating methods can be displayed on the tools through the visual management. Visible calls to support personnel for parts shortage problems. If for a breakdown, in case of breakdown, if any assistance is required from the maintenance people, so through the red light or the visual management, they can be called immediately. Then it helps in reduction of rework. immediate indication of out of tolerance and variance in the various operating variables that can be communicated to the operator through the visual management, so he or she can control the quality. So these are the three basic pillars of visual management: safety, productivity and quality, where the visual management can help to attain the desired targets of the company. Now, what are the functions of visual management? First, visual management has to address three must things: what the operation is trying to make. Second is what the operation is achieving. The first was the targets, then the actual performance, and what problems, if any, are preventing in achieving the production goals. So these are the three things: means targets, actual performance, and the problems which are preventing to achieve the targets are communicated through the visual management. So the functions, if you see, the first function of visual management is communication of necessary information to shop floor personnel, which is easily accessible to everyone. So the visual management, without asking anybody, they can see on the boards, display boards, whatever the necessary instructions, targets. So the communication is the most important function of the visual management. Then visibility, it makes the problem visible so that people can be prompted to take immediate action by themselves. Third is the consistency. Every activity or person follows same standard. Through the visual management, we can display the standard methods, standard working procedures, so that everybody can consistently follow the operations in a proper manner. Then detection using alarms, warning lights when abnormality occurs. There are a lot of sensors are installed in the visual management. Any abnormality in the process immediately detected and communicated through alarms, light signals, warning lights, so that people can take immediate action. Then the fail-safing prevents abnormalities and mistakes. So these are the five main functions. So how it works as a communication tool. Visual management exposes waste so that people can reduce or eliminate it. In my earlier webinars on the lean manufacturing, as I told, explained, the main problem of any manufacturing process is generation of waste. And the purpose and objective of every person to minimize the waste. So in any process, always some value is created and along with some waste are generated. So through the visual management, wastes are exposed so that people can take immediate action to eliminate it. So visual control improves morale, focuses on safety of people. So one of the very important aspect of any production process, especially the morale or the self-esteem, self-confidence of the people involved in the production must be high. So through the visual management, we can make the process very safe for the people. So it enhances their morale and increases the safety. Visuals communicate performance metrics, targets, and actual performance. Already I have explained that means three most important things means what is the target and what is the actual performance and what are the problems which are blocking to achieve the actual performance or the gap between the target and actual. So that must be communicated through performance metrics so that people can know up to what extent they are able to perform correctly. Visuals indicate areas of concern. So any problem area or the area of concern is communicated through visual indicators so the people can take appropriate action. So what to communicate through visual management, especially on the shop floor? As you see here, a board is displayed. This kind of board can be developed in every kind of industry, which can communicate to people what are the productivity goals from their process, what are the quality goals, up to what percentage of quality they are going to achieve, what is a delivery schedule. One of the very important aspect of customer concern is the quality cost delivery. So the delivery must be on the time to satisfy the customer. So the schedule must be known to the people so that they can work accordingly. The setup standard. Here setup is basically for any change in the setup or dies. In most of the industry I have seen the people doesn't have any standard. Some die change it takes 2 hours. One crew can take 2 hours, another can do in 4 hours, another queue can do in 3 hours. So there is no standard for such setup because during that setup activity, the whole production is stopped. So once the setup standard is known, so the people can start acting and speed up their processes to attain that standard. So safety initiative, what safety precautions must be taken by the people that must be communicated through visual management. Then attendance goals. Absenteeism in the shop floor is one of the great concern for the manufacturing people. So people not coming, then it becomes problem for managing the whole production activity and the productivity suffers. So the attendance goals can be indicated for every person and their attendance, actual attendance can be communicated on the visual management so they become more punctual and concerned about their activities. Then team objectives. It encourages team spirit by giving the visual communication of the whole team goals and other relevant information related to production or the people that can be communicated through the visual management on the attractive boards and people can act accordingly. As you see, a typical visual management board is displayed in this visual, the similar kind that any industry can make. Linking visual to action. The human mechanism of action is that first, how the visual management prompt people to take action. Any abnormal condition occurs on the shop floor. So, through the visual management, it is communicated automatically to the people, and once they recognize the condition, person takes action from himself or herself without asking anybody. So it triggers people to take action the moment they see any abnormality in the operation on the shop floor. There are two main techniques of visual management used throughout the world. First is the visual display. The purpose of a visual display is to make people aware of related data and information, like a lot of signboards, do's and don'ts, which must be followed. These are communicated through visual display. And the second is the visual control. This guides the people to take action so that the quality, cost, and delivery targets are met. Any deviation in quality or the defect that has to be communicated. So how the visual control helps through the charts, graphs, etc. So this gives a comparative gap between the target and actuals so the people take action to bring it as per the target. So these are the two main techniques, visual display and visual controls are being used. There are four phases of visual management. As you see in the pyramid, the very first step for the visual management of workplace organization. The workplace must be organized to make it safe, clean, and efficient. So the 5S already I have discussed in earlier programs. The next is the visual display. The purpose of visual display is to communicate all the related information. Means basically it informs the people about all the relevant things which they must know to take appropriate action on the shop floor to attain their quality, cost, and delivery targets. Then visual measures. Here, as I explained earlier, the visual control can be done through the visual measures. Once we know what targets we have to achieve, what are the performance metrics, so then the people will try to attain the norms set by the organization to attain their performance outcomes. So the visual management is basically the next layer, a comprehensive approach to make a visual factory. So this is the four phases one can follow. It has to start from the bottom one and gradually go to that comprehensive visual management to monitor all kinds of activities in the organization. Now let's discuss one by one. So the workplace organization as in the bottom of pyramid, the first phase is the workplace organization. The company must start from the bottom. So the 5S already we have discussed in earlier webinars. 5S has got a 5 steps series, Sito, Siso, Shiketsu and Shitsuke. These are the 5 stages of 5S, how the visual management can be applied in the series or the sorting. Everything in the shop floor should be there if and only if it is needed now or in immediate future. So earlier we have explained that on the shop floor there are two types of items are stored or accumulated. One which is needed immediately or in the future, and another which is not needed neither at this moment nor even in the future. So the sorting that what is needed, what is not needed, how the visual management can be put in practice. The most common thing is called red tagging. 5S red tags are there, which are tied with all unneeded items. It means that those items must be removed from the workplace. This is the very first S activity of sorting the items. So this way, visual management can be applied in the series stage or the sorting to identify the items which are not needed. They must be removed from the workplace. Then the next is the Sito or set in order is the second step of 5S. Here, what it says, everything in shop floor must be in right place, ready for use when you need it. Everything should have a specific address and placed in its place. Floor areas allotted for different items and walkways are marked properly with visible lines. I should see in the visual presented on this side. So to make things stored in a proper place, in a proper way, the visual management can be used, walkways can be made, marked on the shop floor, and every area must be identified for what it is being used. So this can be done by the visual management. So this can help the people to store properly, retrieve properly, and replace properly. Some of the examples of set in order are that put what is needed in a order. You can see many storage small bins are used so that systematically things can be kept instead of just cluttered, and immediately they can be picked as per the requirement. Some of the soft floors, how they have organized 5S activities in the visual management can be seen here. So like a tool, most of the companies, what I have seen, all the tools are put in just one box. So when it is needed, it requires a lot of search time by the technician. And many times, even what tool is required, that is missing because it has not been put in the proper place. So like a tool board, this can help every organization to store every tool in a proper place and again replace it after the use. So all these things can be organized, which can save tremendous time and efficiency of the operators. Third S of the 5S is the CISO, keep things shining, keep it clean workplace. CISO, all equipment, walls, floor areas are clean. This makes people to maintain the cleanliness of equipment, walls, floor areas. So can you detect abnormalities, leakages, vibrations, etc. from the machines? Through the visual management, one can detect what are the abnormalities or where the things are, the pipes or hydraulic systems are leaking, where the vibrations, abnormal vibrations are taking place from the machines. This can be communicated through the visual management. Cleaning schedule and progress of CISO activities. A cleaning schedule can be made so that all the operators they can follow that schedule to keep things clean. Area maps and responsible persons for maintaining CISO cleanliness of the organization that can be displayed. So this is one of the very important activities of 5S. Once you are starting 5S in your company, all the area must be divided in several zones on a visual map, and for each zone who is the person responsible to maintain the 5S activities or the workplace properly is indicated so that everyone knows who has to do what. In the fourth S of 5S is the Siketsu, standardized. Do operators and other employees wear proper working dress? Do they use safety devices while on the job? Do they follow their 5S responsibility as per prescribed standards? So unless standards are made, prescribed, and known to everybody, it's impossible to follow the safety precautions and all standard operating procedures. So in the fourth is visual management can be used to display the standards for various activities, standards for safety precautions, standards for the responsibility and the outcome metrics for everybody. So this can be communicated through the visual management. If you see in this particular visual, so the files can be stored in a proper way with a proper color coding. So the mixing can be avoided. Otherwise, the, most of the files are mixed from a different department to that way. The simple way is that different color coding that can help in classification and standardization. Always clean desk, always clean floor, always sorted and stored files in a proper way. So all the dustbins, so all these things can be implemented through the visual management on the soft floor. Finally, the fifth is Shitsuke. The attitude for the 5S or the visual management is every individual following his duties but before following that, it must be clearly specified so the visual management can specify and communicate the duty of every person at the work. Are they visible? This first, their duties must be known and it must be visible. It can be made visible by putting in writing the various boards in a big way, in a big board, so that everybody can understand their responsibility. Are standards of performance for each activity established and visible? So, a standard of performance for each activity, for each kind of people, must be made visible so that they can take appropriate action to attain the targets and the standards. Our 5S performance is displayed on radar charts known to every person. So the 5S is measured. One of the techniques is the radar chart. Up to what extent 5S is being used by the people. So the radar chart that indicates the 5S performance of the team. So that indicates the gap between the desired targets and actual performance. So the gap that prompts people to take action to attain the targets. So this way, the visual management must start first with the 5S activities. So before that means to practice visual management, they must master the 5S activities and apply visual management to communicate and attain the 5S targets. Next level comes, second phase is that visual display. As I mentioned, the purpose of visual display is to provide the relevant information to the people so that their activities and performances according to the targets. Any question? Audio is breaking. Okay, we'll take action to ensure the audio. Okay, the second level of visual management, phase 2, is to install the visual display. So using visual mechanism to communicate information. The purpose is that all essential information must be communicated to all the people. Visual display builds on the fourth S. The 5S is the first sorting, set in order, third is the sign, and fourth is standardize. So visual display strengthens the fourth S, helps in developing proper standards to communicate to the people so that they can follow their practices to attain those standards. So how to do the job? Standard agreed upon best practices. As per Philip Crosby, one of the quality gurus, he says that people make defects only because of the two reasons. Either they don't know how to do their job, either they know but they are not willing to do. So the knowledge and motivation, these are the two things that decides the quality performance of the people. In most of the situations, people don't know the standard way of doing their work. So that's why the standard is a very essential. What is standard? Agreed upon best practice. How they can know? The most powerful and simple method is visual display. The standard operating practices that can be displayed in front of the operators, then they can know and they follow. So by that way, the standard operating practices or the best practices are communicated to all the operators that shows them how to do their job correctly. Then the same way, the tools, equipments, materials, how to use them. So this can be standardized procedure and it can be displayed to make the people understand how to use the things. So performance status. People are doing activities, but unless they are told up to what extent they have achieved the targets, they don't know it. So the visual management can be applied to know the to make the people know what is the status of their performance, up to what percentage they are able to meet the efficiency and output norms. So by that way, they can know the gap between their actual performance and targets and take action. And another very important aspect is the visual display, identify hazardous area. The shop floor or any workplace, there are some areas where the hazardous chemicals may be stored, or some area where the people, if they go unknowingly, there may be some accidents, there may be chances of any other undesired things. So the hazardous areas can be communicated through the visual management that will improve the safe working condition on the shop floor. So what kind of visual displays can be applied in your factory? First is about the product and process information. If we just go in any company as a visitor, we must know without asking any person what is being produced in this particular production process and what is the details of what are the basic nature of the process information. So the people must know the product and process information. This can be done through the visual management. Then next, area information. What that area? What are the boundaries? Up to what limits the area is covered, like one department is up to this area, so that people can know who is responsible for that particular area and what are the boundaries, are the limits of their area of work. Standard work instructions, work charts, standardized tables, all these things. First, standard work instructions are standard operating practices must be displayed on the shop floor so that people can know how to do their work in proper way. Then performance. How the performance is measured and monitored. What are the metrics used for the performance monitoring that should be displayed visually on the floor. Status of current issues and improvement activities. What are the current issues? Is there quality problems going on? Is there any maintenance activity going on? Or is there some breakdown is there? So all these status of current issues must be displayed on the shop floor. Schedules of maintenance, calibration, or other support activities which are to be performed. So all the schedules must be displayed on the shop floor so the people can follow the schedules. So this type of display can be created at each workplace, whether it is small company or the medium or the large company. So this is the use of visual display for that. Like here, if you see this particular information, so if there are 4 lines in the company, immediately just on the real time basis it can say line 1 is running, okay, no problem. Line 2, it's okay, but there is a shortage of material, it must be supplied. Line 3, it is running without any problem. Line 4 is jammed because of some of the problems. So this way, any manager, any person, he can see the status of current operations and immediate action can be taken by the concerned people. So this way, visual management helps to bring all the operations within the control. Like information boards, most of the well-managed companies, especially in Japanese company, just at the reception itself or just in the entry of any production process, you get all the complete information about its operations, about its performance, its trends, quality, cost, delivery, targets achieving, all these things. So this is made known to the all people, all employees of the organizations, in addition to the managers, so that they can think on abnormalities and try to find out solution to attain the targets. So the visual display can prompt every employee to make continuous improvement in their performance and the process performance to attain the targets of the company. How to do the job, as I explained earlier also, this is one of the main reasons is because of the ignorance of how to do the job. Most of the mistakes made by the operators. So in this particular picture, if you see, so the visual drawings and step-by-step activities, it is explained how to do the job step by step. This is called a standardized work chart that can be created for every type of activity. It must be displayed in front of the operator who is doing the job. So this way we can minimize the defect rate, we can improve the performance of the people, performance of the company to attain the quality, cost and delivery targets through the visual management. Lean activity board. As I mentioned in the earlier, this is one of the very powerful lean tools. And lean manufacturing is practically goal of every manufacturing organization. So in a lean factory corner, some of the companies who are following the lean implementation, they can create a visual series of visual boards which can explain all kind of lean activity. Lean activity includes your Kaizen projects, your 5S activities, your daily work management activities, your maintenance activities, and the performance trends of the various lines and all these areas where improvements are going on. So one can spend some time and can understand what is the culture of the company, how things are improving. So this becomes an educative board for all employees and makes them to think. Unless they know the difference between targets and actuals, they cannot take any action to attain the targets. So this way, visual management, visual board can help the people on the shop floor to know the gap between target and actual and makes them to think to find out appropriate methodology to improve the process. Visual display. Nowadays you can see even the marketplace, even the ready-made garment shops. About 20, 25 years back, such things were not there in most of the Indian shops. But now you can see that visual displays are made, how it can be actually look like with all models. So this is helping the people. You can see here in the different one, especially go to any electronic shop or the TV showroom, you will find a lot of big TVs displayed together and different models are put together which can differentiate the color sharpness, resolution of the pictures. So this way it helps the people to select the appropriate model and size of the television or display units to get the desired electronic items. So the visual display is becoming very common everywhere, even on our roads, in the marketplace. So the same concept can be applied intensively on the soft floor. Departmental information board. Every department has got a unique type of information. Here just see typical stamping department information board. Here their production trends across the month has been shown. So through this control chart or the time run chart, people can understand how much fluctuation in the operation is taking place, productivity is taking place. Here the delivery targets, up to what extent they are able to meet the delivery. Quality performance, what has been their quality performance during the month and what has been trend in improvement. Safety performance, projects undergoing, up to what extent they have been completed. This way, every department can create the information boards which can give the all essential information to all employees so that they can know where they stand and what are the shortcomings to attain the targets. So the like Kaizen activity board for any company, for its survival and continuous growth, Kaizen or the continuous improvement is the most essential activity. Without Kaizen, no company can survive in the future. So the Kaizen activity board means what are the continuous improvement activities going on the shop floor being done by various teams. So the Kaizen activity board explains what are the various projects going on, what has been their results, even the results sometimes 110% appreciated by the team. So this way it improves their morale, it motivates the people to come out with better and better ideas. And like in a company, a team of the month, best Kaizen performed by the company, various teams, that's also displayed so that everyone gets proper communication and it inspires the people to do better work through the Kaizen. Visual display, 5S recognition of success. This is very important in every company to develop internal competitions in various teams. So all teams they try to do their best, and here the 5S recognition of success, the best work done by a team that is displayed on a visual display board, visual information board. How this what was the condition before and after. So all the people they see the difference in improvement activity through the 5S. So this inspires all the employees to do their best to improve the condition and the best teams are recognized, rewarded. So this creates an internal competition among all the other teams to deliver their best to achieve the recognition. This in the 5S. So this is a here the visual display is being used to motivate and inspire the people to do their best and come out with better ideas. All the photographs of the team members and the performance and the description of what improvement they have done are all explained on the visual boards. So this way it improves the morale of the employees and motivates to do better things in future. Information boards about the attendance, about like you can see similar boards on the railway stations. Some of the things can be applied here in the stations also. It can be applied by the time schedule, timetable, which train is late. You will find these things are being applied in the airports, railway stations, bus stations. The same way, all these relevant information can be applied in every department, every shop floor to make the people better informed. Now the next activity becomes visual control. This is the third pillar, third phase. If any company first start the visual management from the 5S implementation, then applying visual management in the 5S activities, then the visual displays to make the people informed about the performance and the current conditions, future targets. The third phase of the visual management starts with the visual measures. What is a visual control? Visual control is the principle of increasing efficiency and effectiveness simply by deliberately making things visible. When things are visible, they are kept in conscious mind. It also serves to ensure that everyone has a common viewpoint of what is being displayed. So through the visual control, first we try to communicate the people a standard way of doing. Some comment from the question that you are giving good information, but how to implement this in a small scale industry where there are hardly any separate QA person to implement, monitor and control these activities. Very nice question. At least you are appreciating that these are good information, this must be done. If this is really you are finding useful, I think you must assign some person to implement the quality assurance and quality improvement activities so that industry can do better. And once that person initiates, and finally every person of small scale industry will be trained. So this becomes very, very important for small scale industry where the less number of people are there. So the visual management is going to be their trainer and coach. Only you have to do one time effort. You can take the help of a consultant. And my advice that small scale industry, they should come out with the paradigm of small scale. You are a manufacturing industry and you must envision that you should not remain small scale forever. Your objective, your vision should be to come out from small to medium, medium to large, large to multinational. And this has happened in many small scale industry. Earlier I quoted Havels, one of the examples. There are thousands of such examples. Even the Reliance industry, they started in not a so big way, but now it has become a very big industry. So all of you know the history. First, my suggestion that you delete the word small scale. You are just manufacturing industry. If you want to become big, so the visual management is not just a visual. It is going to be a great teacher to the all operators how to make things better. So this is a more important and more relevant for small scale industry to apply for the growth of the organization. You can take help of external consultant who can develop all these things. Nowadays, creating a various attractive visuals has become very easy through flexographic printing. Nice visuals can be created and very economic way it can be printed and displayed on the shop floor. So here you can take a great advantage from visual management without increasing even the manpower. So my advice that select one person who is having a competence and attitude towards do these things. He can design and get it printed on flexographic printing and start displaying on the shop floor so that all the operators at least they can understand what to do and how to do their job to attain the targets. So very nice question. I appreciate your question. and I am sure that means you got the answer. So limitation is not the small scale or the large scale. It is just your will. If you feel that this is useful, you can create even without increasing your manpower. Thank you for very good question. So visual control, as I mentioned, a technique where control of an activity or process is made easier or more effective by deliberate use of visual signals. What this visual control signals do? They give feedback to an operator about how the process is working and can alert the operator to it. For improving our performance, this is very important that we must get the feedback. Whatever we have done, we must get the feedback. What was the gap between our performance and the target? So the visual management that gives immediate feedback to the operators without any external intervention of any person. So immediately once the feedback comes, he or she takes appropriate action to attain the target. We usually used in 5S but can be implemented with any process improvement initiative. So the control is not just in 5S, several examples are there which it can help improving the speed of any process, productivity of any process, output of any process. So just by the visual controls, it can help in controlling the inventory, which is the great concern for small and big industry everywhere. Another question has come from, yeah, can it be simplified? Can it be simplified to suit the SSI? First, you try to understand the whole concept of 5S. In fact, personally, I am doing consulting to many SSSI, small scale industries. All these are practically possible. My suggestion is that first you try to understand what is the visual control. So based on your understanding, try to find out how relevant it is to your process and select a simple model for you that I'll be discussing in the coming slides. Please wait for some time. So you'll find the answer how to go about it. Thank you. So visual control can also include audible signals. Many places you can see nowadays the audible signals are also coming, even like your mobile and all these things are giving. Same way it can be applied with the alarms, even the speech. Wow. Recorded voices can be also there. So this way it can be used in various ways. The three beeps from your microwave once your food has finished. This every day we see in our homes also the microwave ovens. Just three beep means that gives a alarm. That gives a audio communication that now the cooking has been completed one kind. So the visual management can be combined with the audio systems also to warn the people, to inform the people, to communicate the people. So once you are designing visual control, you must keep in mind the goal of visual control is to make a process self-explaining. First thing that visual board, control board, if you are applying, it must explain clearly, just like we see in the cricket match. That is self-explaining without asking anybody what is the score, how many overs are completed, how many wickets are gone down, right? So all these informations immediately comes from this visual board. The same way it can be applied on the shop floor to explain all the relevant information to the visual control boards. Self-ordering. So it is a self-ordering means once any abnormality is informed, communicated to the person, so it orders, it prompts person, it gives self-order to take immediate action to rectify the abnormalities. Self-regulating traffic lights you see on all the corners in the metros. So the yellow, green, red, all these are auto-regulating through the technology with a timer. So this way visual boards can be designed which can regulate automatically, self-improving, facilitate corrections in Microsoft Word or email. This very nice example in the on the Microsoft Word itself. Any mistake about if you just see 10 years back, it was not detecting any mistake. But today, if any spelling mistake occurs while we are typing, immediately indication is given on that particular word spelling is not correct. So it becomes self-improving and you just click on the tool and spelling is corrected or grammar is corrected. So this way it is self-improving. So these are the four key aspects of any visual control, is that it must be self-explaining, give the complete information without asking anybody. Self-ordering, once the information comes, you need not be ordered by anybody, instructed by anybody to take action. Automatically prompts people to take action. Self-regulating, it should be time-bound, automatically changing, and then self-improving, it can help solve the problem or assist the people to solve the problem. So this way, through use of the modern technology, which has become very inexpensive nowadays, means it is easily available. Only one has to think, understand these principles, say visual control board can be made. Visual controls goes beyond simply tracking and reporting performance. Its purpose is not just only monitoring and reporting. It highlights deviations that occur from the planned outcomes. The more important is that it gives the feedback. How, up to what extent we have deviated from the planned performance, planned outcome, so that action can be taken to attain the targets. Many forms of visual control exist in the lean workplace. Means a lot of types of visual control as and on lines are there, control charts are there. So all these analysis charts are there. So all these things are being used in the lean workplace. Three rules of visual control, seeing as a group. Here, the lean is one of the very important aspect of lean manufacturing is that it is based on the teamwork. It's not just an individual. So the visual controls strengthen the teamwork, seeing as a group. This all the information displayed on the visual control is especially what is the concern, as I mentioned in the beginning, quality, cost and delivery are the three most important parameters which customers are looking from the manufacturing organizations and suppliers. So seeing as a group, delays, inventory, machine availability, once these things are seen, then knowing as a group, like delivery commitments, goals, schedules, rules, every person must know it. And acting as a group, consensus on objective, participating in improvement. So the visual control can help the people to see, know, and act as a group and encourage teamwork because all the relevant information are communicated through the visual controls to all the people so that they can take appropriate action to control the abnormal conditions to attain the target. So what are the various visual metrics concerned with the manufacturing operations? The lean manufacturing is based on the some basic model of that. We use 4Ms: materials, machines, methods, and manpower to produce the products. So every process has got some measurable outputs measurable performance, and what these include. The first three are the most concerned by the customers: quality, cost, and delivery. Quality, cost, and delivery are the three most important aspects which is essential for the customer satisfaction. Then other metrics which is important for the company first is the productivity in addition to quality, cost, delivery. The productivity so that cost can be reduced, safety of all the employees and the machines, equipment, morale of the employees, safety, and now the great concern has come about the environmental parameters, environmental metrics. Every process has got some environmental impacts. So how or to what extent environmental impacts are damaging our environment going beyond our norms prescribed by the pollution control boards must be monitored. So in addition to quality, cost, delivery, I recommend four more important parameters is the productivity, safety, environment, and morale of the employees. So these are seven essential things. Plus other metrics may be equipment availability, inventory breakdowns, yield factors. There are so many other factors can be added depending on nature of the process and sensitivity of these parameters on customer satisfaction and profitability of the organization. So each organization can define their own metrics based on their importance. So what the metrics must tell, if you see, first thing, what's happening in the process. So the gaps and trends. If trends are continuously improving, then it means there is some stability in the organization. If it is coming down, it means it is giving the big alarm to the company. Immediate action is needed. First purpose of the matrix must be there. It must communicate what's happening on the shop floor. The second, why, it must communicate or help the people to identify the root cause. Why this is happening, if any abnormal condition is taking place, why it is there, so that they can think and find appropriate countermeasure and solutions to prevent the abnormalities. Third is what needs to be done. Once the root cause is there, then how to correct it, how to eliminate the root cause, what action need to be taken. The visual control board or visual metrics must address the people so that they can take appropriate action to bring the process under control. Then who is going to do it? This is very important. What action is to be taken? It cannot be performed unless the clear responsibility is assigned. So the visual management, visual metrics or visual boards can clearly communicate that who is responsible. Just like I am just giving one simple example in the 5S. How the 5S is implemented, the whole area of the organization is divided in every zone. And every zone must have a process owner, a zone owner. And that is displayed with the photo and the name of the person who is responsible. So this way it becomes who is going to take care of that particular problem or the area. So this way it communicates, delegates responsibility to all the people, and they come to know that who is responsible. Most of the organizations, especially SMEs, there is no proper communication or delegation of responsibility. Government organizations, you can find the properly structured delegation of authority. Who is authorized for what? Authority and this So here, in the same way, small scale industry also can apply the same concept of delegating authority. But it has to be communicated unless it is displayed, nobody knows. Most of the companies, they, no one knows who is responsible for what action. So mostly verbal communication, or unless the people are asked, they don't take any action. It's not their mistake. It is a mistake of the management because it is not clear who is delegated for that authority or the responsibility or accountability. Three things are important: responsibility, authority, and accountability. It should be clearly displayed where the visual management can be used. When is going to be done? Another important, what need to be done, it cannot be just open-ended. So it must have a time limit. So these are the 5 things are important to design the visual matrix for each company. You cannot just have a standard for everybody, every type of company, but whether it is small or big, whether it is small or big, it must address. These are the 5 what's happening, basically the gap between the target and actual. That is area of concern. Then why the gap is taking place, it must help to identify the root cause. Unless the people know the gap, they'll not think about the root cause. Then once the root cause is known, what need to be done, what countermeasures or what solution has to be evolved and implemented, that should be addressed through the visual matrix. Then once solution is known, designed, then who is going to do it? Who is responsible to implement that solution? That should be clearly communicated through visual management, and then when it is going to be done, a time limit. It cannot be just open-ended. So these are the basic guidelines for deciding the visual metrics. Like some of the activities on every shop floor, irrespective of the size of the company, the team should collect data and display their 5S project. The 5S is the foundation of visual management. So what are the metrics applicable with the 5S, like 5S rating? There is a methodology to evaluate the rating of 5S that can be displayed on the visual management, that becomes metrics. Spaghetti diagrams, that helps to improve your layout of the workplace so that distance traveled for each item during production is minimized, because spaghetti diagram is zigzag. If you see, lot of time wasted in just zigzag movement, so the productivity comes down. It can be simplified by the linear movement of the material so that it takes less time, less clutter is there. So this way spaghetti diagrams are created to identify the areas of concern. Then the process maps help how it should be done in better way. Once you make the process map and then try to rationalize it, you will find the many steps can be eliminated. This way productivity can be improved. Process observation prompts, how the process is doing, what abnormalities are occurring. Process flow charts, various photographs of different activities, action listing, what action to be taken, when to be taken, how to take, and who should take it. Tact versus cycle, demand rate, and your production capability cycle time. All these are the very relevant visual metrics for any shop floor, which can help in improvement of performance of people and process. So types of visual controls are shadow boards, indicators on various items, the gauges, meters, Hejunka boards showing the status of daily schedules, design pull systems, Kanban systems, control charts, some of the very common type of visual controls used in the lean manufacturing practice. Like whether it is a company is small or large, they can really control quality with simple control charts. You just see the control chart. Here you see control charts helps the people to know that whether their process is stable or working within the control limits or not. Here the orange, all the data, the time, mean, range, sum, CPK, CPM, all these statistical performance measures, once displayed on the visual control charts, every operator, irrespective of his background of education, can understand, just like see in the middle one control chart, two orange lines, orange dots are out of limit. So irrespective of the education, any operator or technician can understand that these two situations are out of control. Once he or she comes to know that it is beyond control limits, definitely without asking anybody, he or she will think how to bring under control. So how the visual management can help to communicate and understand everybody, whereas a lot of data given on the above table can confuse anyone. So the visual control makes everyone understand the impact of a data. So this way, process control charts can be applied in every company. It doesn't need a lot of time, lot of effort, but it needs basic understanding, basic training, how to use the control chart, how to make the control chart, how to interpret the control chart, and how it can help in improving quality of any organization. I think every SME can very well apply the control chart, provided they are willing to do it. Production monitoring and targets. These are the visual controls, which nowadays even the digital controls has become very economic, very cheap, and it can be designed by the local suppliers. So these are attractive boards which can communicate to all the people, just like see target, actual, efficiency, performance, and how much it is down compared to that way. So all these informations can be communicated to all the people. So plant 4 visuals motivate and engage the team, set real-time goals, drive desired behavior. I suggest that at least such kind of simple target boards can be started by SMI. And with proper training, every employee of SME, irrespective of their educational background, once they are trained, they can understand, interpret, and they'll be motivated to make improvements in the performance of their company on the real-time basis. SMEs, my recommendation, this simple board they can make, at least whiteboards with the proper printed tables can be made at least every day. The targets, production targets, achievements, and the gap can be identified. Just you do experiment and take the feedback of all employees. It is not expensive. It is not a cumbersome. It is a simple thing you can apply in every department, every section. Just make a daily production boards, give the target, and let the operators feel how much they have achieved. So automatically the gap will trigger them to make improvement, because I have done during a lean consulting to many SMEs, I'm just giving example. In one of the utensil manufacturing industry, setup means die change is a very frequent affair in most of the power presses. No one was knowing what is the standard die change time. Some operators were taking 2 hours, some 3 hours, some 4 hours, some even whole day. There was neither management was concerned nor the operators. I just suggested them fix that. Okay, die change time is standard die change. First we applied the SMED, improved the die change time, set the standard. Okay, die change must be completed within 40 minutes. The first time it has happened, and then gradually all our crew members they achieved that target. Earlier somebody was taking 2 hours, somebody 3 hours, somebody 4 hours. No one was bothering because it was not monitored, it was not controlled, it was not known to the people. This way, the all data die change, stop time of the machine, a simple board was created for the die change stop time and restart time with the good pieces. So once they come to know that 40 minutes is standard time, within that time we have to implement, we have to improve, and gradually their performance improve. Just simple board and the recording of the stop time and the restart time. So this way tracking can be done. Means this has been applied and being done in several SMEs. So this is very much possible. Production control, I'm just giving the Toyota, what is the plan, what is the actual, what is the difference of any unit, business model. So simple things that makes everyone informed and at least they get educated what is the plan, what is the actual. So this is the beginning of a visual management. Inventory control. Inventory is the greatest concern. Here the very typical way is how the visual management is being applied. If you see the bars, they are having three colors, red, yellow and green. So here beyond the green means that is excess inventory, means you just see the immediately green is comfortable. Yellow, once the label comes in the yellow, it means initial actions has to be taken to the procurement of the material so that the minimum safety stock is maintained. Once it comes green, it becomes alarming that immediate action is taken. How the visual management is helping to control the inventory just by seeing any operator without going through any records, he or she can see whether it is in the red limit or yellow limit or green. So this way, visual management can be applied in a very simple but most effective way to control the inventory. Here are shadow boards. Here all the instruments they are kept. Outline is made by the print. It means once that particular item is taken out, means that shadow is remaining there, means it has been taken by somebody. Unless it is brought back, the item is missing. So this way, shadow boards help the people to control that, where to keep it, and after when it is lifted after the use, and again it has to be kept back. So at the evening, before closing the shop, one can see that all instruments, all tools are kept in place. If something is missing, the shadow will remind that this item has to be kept back at the proper place. So this is a shadow boards can be made. Visual indicators, just see how this is in fact in our cars also you can see, you must have noticed that red, yellow and green means green means you are going beyond the range, very high speed. Yellow means beyond the standard, beyond the safe limit. So this way the red, yellow and green are the universal figures that tells the limit. Even the children can understand red or green. The same concept can be applied in the meters of any process, when it is out of range, when it is within control limits, safe limits, when it is exceeding the safe limits. Equipment control, especially in SMEs, there is no proper equipment maintenance or the control. So for each equipment, one can make visual control which can locate which equipment is under operation, which equipment when needs service or the maintenance, which equipment is under breakdown, what are the availability data, what are the performance data. The OEE is one of the parameters which monitors the effectiveness, overall equipment effectiveness. So all these things can be monitored through the visual control, and the concerned employee, they can know what need to be done to improve the equipment health. And system, how the and system, if any abnormality occurs, immediately light gets switched on. Today just I was coming from Delhi to Kolkata by flight. How the and system, I just struck my mind. How it is being applied even in the aeroplane. If you need any help from the crew, just put on the light and immediately the air hostess or any crew that come immediately come to you and ask that what assistance you want. That is the right example of ENA. If anything abnormal happens in a production process, immediately red light goes on, and without even many times with the horn, with the alarm that goes on, and immediately the concerned maintenance people, they rush to the place to find out the problem and give the solution. This way, end-on system can be applied in most of the production process. The inspection area, inspection and packaging is a very important area for any company. All the outputs means the actual quality performance, in-house quality can be known in the inspection area. To ensure that only right quality products are delivered to the customer, inspection is done in every company before the packaging and dispatch. So the inspection area, they can display all the performance, they can display how to do inspection, what is the standard method, standard of a product, quality standard, and what is abnormality. All these things can be displayed visually so that the right inspection is done. All inspectors, they do in the same way, and the complete data of the rejection or the type of defects that can be displayed. This inspection area visual displays can be give very important and valuable information for the production people to ensure the quality. So like here, as I mentioned in the beginning, quality, cost and delivery are the three most important concerns, important requirements of customers. So what has been your quality, and here the plus indicates safety. Safety, quality, delivery and the cost are the four areas of the whole year performance can be displayed, and this way all people can know the quality performance of the company, safety management of the company, safety performance, delivery targets achieving, and the cost area. So this safety, quality, delivery and cost display can give the complete information about the performance of company, and this will make the people to think, to analyze the trends and take actions if trends are downward, so that they can take action to improve. Visual work instruction, workstation. Just see a typical example is given. The operator is working in the machine. There first is the work instruction how to do the job. Work instruction is what? Given the sequence of steps he must perform to complete his or her job. So that is a work instruction. Then TPM checklist is given. What the operator must check every day to ensure that the equipment remains healthy. Then the information board, what are the outputs are there, what are the targets are there, what are the gaps. So this way, simple, just on the paper, plain paper, you can display in all critical machines. This is going to educate the worker, operator. This is going to help him or her to give the best productivity, best quality standard, and on-time production. So this is a matter of learning the visual management and applying it. That is important. And I personally feel in SME, because somebody asked the question that how to apply in the SME, I think SME needs more than the large industry, because large industry people are getting a lot of training, a lot of automation is there in the company, but SMEs compared to large, less automation, less training. So this is one of the simplest and most effective way. Train your people, educate. You can make visual boards in the local languages, which can be read by the people, and it can be generated within your company. As you see this particular example, there is one structure is there, there maintenance checklist, and there all the information board. And here on the bottom, if you see the yellow line, all the marking is there. The trace where to keep it. A simple example of SME. I'm sure that you will agree this can be made possible in any small or big company, small company. Now comes that we have seen first is the first phase was that workplace organization, which you can do through the 5S. Visual display, all the essential information can be displayed to the boards. Third phase is that visual measures, what measures metrics you should use to control the abnormality on the workplace. And fourth phase is now a comprehensive visual management, how to put in practice. So these are the 5 M's involved in every manufacturing company, whether it is small scale or the medium or the large. So these 5 M's must be managed through the visual management. So what are these 5 M's? The materials, machine, methods, measurement, and manpower. Any abnormality related to 5 M's must be displayed visually at a shop floor. Now I'm coming to practical aspect, how you can apply in the small industry, asked by Mr. Amrish, right? So these are the just divide with all your activities in the 5 areas. First, let's see how the materials management can use the visual management even in small scale. How do you know that material is flowing smoothly? So simple, the bin cards, simple material cards means the movement of material, how it is flowing, that can be known through such kind of visual control board. For smooth production, it is essential to ensure flow of the material in process and there is no inventory at any stage. From the lean perspective, the flow is the very important. The speed the material is being processed in your factory thus must be maximized to minimize the cost, to minimize the problems faced by your company, to minimize delays. So, so this way the flow can be measured through the visual management board. How do you know that material is flowing without any interruption? If there is an imbalance between one step to another, it means there is some interruption. Use visual management, track the flow of material. Just you see the material movement can be monitored through the cards. Each process, what has been moved from one place to another, that just by transferring the cards one can know, and one can know this way how the flow is taking place in the company. Visual management in machines. How do you know that machine is producing good quality products? Attach indication light when machine is stopped. So if any abnormality in the machine takes place, immediately red light is made on. This is very common practice applied in most of the continuous process. Indicate the lubrication level. Like the lubrication level, earlier the opaque steel sheets used to be there. Nowadays, the new machines, they are coming with transparent, visible things that immediately you can see the level indicators. Even in your domestic inverter batteries, you can find the floats are given. They indicate the water level in the battery. The same way here, which is a green, red, all the indicators are made, and you can see the lubricant level is visible once it comes below the normal level. So automatically it communicates to the operator that means now the lubricant has to be refilled. Replace opaque steel covers by transparent covers so that operator can see. As I suggested, means one can replace this way so that the label can be visible and it becomes transparent to help the operator to take immediate action. Visual management in methods. How does a supervisor know if people are doing their job right? Visual management, this is made clear by standard worksheet. Operating instructions posted at each workstation. Worksheets show important parameters like sequence of operations, cycle time, safety time, quality checkpoints, standard inventory, all these things. So clear instructions can help the people to make sure that they are following the correct method. Visual management in measurements. How do you check whether the process is running smoothly? How do you know whether an improvement has been made and whether you are reaching to the target value? So gauges must be clearly marked to show safe operating range. All the gauges meters must have clear indication of shop. Their calibration status is a very important aspect, whether they have been calibrated and they are showing the correct figure or not, that must be indicated on the visual board. And only those status is verified, means within control, only those instruments can be used. So this way, visual management can be applied in the measurements. Visual management in manpower. Actually, manpower, every person is, his competence is monitored through the skills. If you see, in this, a circle is made with a four quadrant. So here, three kinds of skills are there: weld, inspector, debug. Means all the particular skills, what skills the people are having, that is indicated in the dark quadrant. It means that deburring quality, say for example, Luke has got a welding skill, inspection skill, and deburring skill. So this way, here the associated operation, trainer, setup, gauge, changeover, unassisted operation. So all these are showing that four quadrants, and each associate, each operator, what kind of skill they are having. So the skill matrix can be made. So this way, one can identify what is the competency level of a person. How do you know that operator's morale is high? How do you know that skill level of people? How do you know that operator is doing the job right? So morale can be judged by the number of suggestions. One of simple method means how much person is involved, engaged with the work. Involvement of employee that comes with the number of suggestions. That is one of the metrics. So number of suggestions given by each employee can be one of the measures. So this indicates the morale of the employee. If somebody has got high morale, he will be more engaged, he will come out with more new ideas. So this way the manpower can also be just. Indicate who is absent from duty. Attendance means it must be known to the people. Indicate training and skill level of the people as his competency matrix can be developed. So this can be displayed on the visual. So this will help the people to know their competence and inspire them to improve their competence to do better jobs. Now comes that, yeah, I'm coming to the practical answer that how to implement visual management in your company. So these are the four phases. As I mentioned, they start with the workplace 5S, then visual display, visual measures, and management in 5 areas. So first step is form a steering committee to manage visual management. In your company, you just form a group of people, two, three, who are positive minded, attitude, who can get the things done, and we who are willing to do something new in the company. And every organization has got a few people, whether it is small or big organization, you pick up few people and form them that now you have to implement the visual management. Map the process and identify the opportunities for visual management. Don't go for the company wide. Map the process where the criticality is there, which are very important from the QCD concern, is quality, cost, delivery. Prioritize them and first start as a pilot basis in those companies. Third step, decide what need to be done. So what need to be visual, don't go for the very advanced visual. First decide, set up a trigger system, motivate the people how you are going to implement it, make a plan and implement 4 phases of visual management. First, steering committee, form a committee in your company. Forget that you are a small scale company, you are just a manufacturing organization with a vision to become a big organization. So that attitude is required, and the owner or the CEO must be involved, take the lead. So form a group of few people, then identify opportunities, as I mentioned, map the process right from beginning to end. Identify which are the most critical from quality, cost, and delivery aspects, and pick up them. Then decide what to be made visual. I mentioned as earlier, productivity goals, quality goals, delivery schedules, set up standards, safety initiatives, attendance goals, team objectives, other relevant information. Whatever you feel is important, these are need to be visual. You select, set up a trigger system. Is visual management, everything works from a trigger, visual display, visual control. So here, abnormal condition occurs, that must be displayed. Person recognize the condition. So once the person, concerned person sees and then takes. This is a trigger system. So here, what information about the abnormality you want to communicate, what the people should see so that they can take action. So this kind of visual you can create at the right place where the people they see and they get triggered to take action. Then design the visual system. Guiding principles are designing, it must be simple, it must be big, easily readable, not small. As I mentioned earlier, now the flexography has become very common thing and very economic activity. It's no more expensive. In every street of any city, you will find the flexography. Flexographers are there, means who are printing and displaying. So make a big, attractive, easily readable visual system. Fix it where it is needed. Means immediately it should trigger the people. It should be just in front of the people at the right place so that they can take action. Then changeable. People can change the info. It's a dynamic means where the information can be changed. So this way you have to design a visual system, make it implement. implementation is design visual items, workplace organization, visual display, visual control management. So you can make a 6-month plan and just giving a typical action plan, how you can go further. It's not even you can reduce also. So this way you can make a plan, action plan, and then implement the plan. Decide the work and just go and put the plan into action and try to. So this way, just see the visual factory, how attractive it is a typical how they are using in a crayon factory. It has become, they call it rainbow factory. It can be done. So I'm just giving a small case study how actually it has been implemented, not the conceptually in a small company during one of the lean consulting where the visual management has. First, the training was given to the all concerned people. This is making a lot of utensils and all these things. All they make all the machines, the marking line you can see, the walkway has been made, the color coding has been made. All the machines are identified with numbering. All these things has been done. Then the visual control systems, the samples were created and put on the board so that all implies they can understand what are the various sequence of operation. This way, the visual sample boards were created and the yellow, red and blue trays were used to identify which material has been missed. Basically, here the green one that okay, the yellow one that indicates that can be reworked, and the red one that means it cannot be reworked or rejected. So this way, sorting is going on at the inspection itself, and this helps the people sort it out and take further rework and repair, and which is not repairable that can be scrapped, and all the data you can see on the board, it is being displayed. So this way it has been done in a very small scale units. All the dies, a lot of dies are used, all dies are numbered and with a marking, the identification is stored in a racks so that it can be immediately within no time dies can be picked up and used. So visual management is that create your own visual style, let it be unique for yourself and it identified for others. So what I discussed the basic concepts and practicality aspect. There is a lot of scope for creating your own visual style and which can be unique, which can be as per your taste and as per your ideas, but it identified well by others, but at the same time which can be easily recognized by others, understood by others. So here the visual management, the basic philosophy, you see, a picture is worth 1,000 of words. You have seen the control chart just within 3 lines, how the process performance can be monitored even by less educated person who are not exposed to its statistics and data. Instead of giving a lot of complex data which cannot be understood by everybody, a simple process control chart can bring control in the quality by less educated operators, but they must be taught the language of visual management. So with this, I thank you for your patient participation in this program, and if any question you are having, I'll be glad to further clarify. Otherwise, you can just send an email. Can send an email to us and we'll respond. Thank you.